Hey, how about you, everybody? Welcome into the Wednesday episode of Inside the 20 with myself and Keith Niebuhr. We're going to do our best to get as much recruiting intel to you with inside the 20-minute mark. No flags today. Joined, as I always am, by Mr. Keith Niebuhr. Keith, how the hell are you, big dog?
I'm good. What's going on, brother?
Oh, nothing much. Just a normal, typical week in
Oh
Auburn.
yeah. Does it ever dull around Auburn? This is season 10 for me, and what season, I don't know, 38 for you. And
It's
it's like
always something.
it's always something. It's always something.
Always something. And before we get into it, man, we want to throw a big how about you to Caleb Schofield with Mike Patton Auto. Guys, if you're looking for a new or used vehicle, give Caleb a call at 334-531-0996 there in LaGrange. He's got new and used cars, new Ford, Lincoln, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and Honda. They've got a huge selection of used inventory. And Keith knows this because he actually used Caleb bought a Bronco from Caleb 2 weeks ago. Keith,
Yeah, man, I've been driving around my cactus gray Bronco all over
sweet.
town, and the women are basically serenading me with roses as I drive through town. It's been great. No, but I
It's
love the
nice.
car. Hey, look, to be simple here, I was looking for like three things: something I could afford, something I really wanted, and something that made it smooth and effortless. That's the kind of the hard part about buying a car. Once you realize you got the money, then you start thinking, oh my God, how much effort is this going to take? How long
Right.
is this going to take? How much am I going to get put through the ringer? And so they had everything: the price that I was looking for, the car that I was looking for, and everything got done just a couple hours, quite frankly. So,
Woo. And was delivered.
yeah, triple threat, man. He's the Caleb's the Aaron Judge of car sellers right now, man. I love the guy. He's been great, and the car is awesome. I love it. It rides like a Cadillac. It's unbelievable.
Keith used slightly used Bronco as all the used cars there in Caleb's lot pass a multi-point inspection before they even sell them, and then Keith's got a free 3-month 3,000-mile warranty on his used vehicle. All new vehicles at Caleb's lot come with a free lifetime powertrain warranty, unlimited time, unlimited mileage, no deductible to service with them. Give Caleb a call there in LaGrange, 334-531-0996. Caleb Schofield, Mike Patton Auto. Whew. Let's see, Keith. Since our last Inside the 20 on Monday, Auburn picked up a commitment from 3-star offensive lineman Janoris Wilson. He committed to Auburn Monday night. Keith, you know a lot about Janoris. I think you went and saw him, have talked to him, have covered his recruitment. What do you think about Auburn's commitment there?
Yeah, so that gets Auburn to 10 commitments, and gosh, it took a while to get to double digits, Jeffrey, but I'll tell you. But Auburn's now up to 32nd in the rankings in the country. It's still not where everybody wants it to be, but slowly moving up. 10th in the SEC, again, still not where people expect Auburn to be. However, they were 14th just a couple weeks ago. So they're moving in the right direction. But Janoris Wilson, he's an interesting player. I don't think he got a lot of attention, Jeffrey, before this year because he was at another school. I don't, not the football program he's at now. He's now playing for Lakeland High School down in Polk County, Florida, just east of Tampa. And that is a football powerhouse. That's a school that's got guys in the NFL, guys at Power 5 programs. So he's gotten more notoriety. Beginning of the year, Oregon offered. In June, Auburn offered. He's started becoming a more of a known commodity because, well, actually, I think Oregon offered before he transferred. But as he's gotten to Lakeland High, more people have gotten to know him. Now, he can play tackle or guard. He's only 6'4" and 290. So you're thinking, well, he's got to be a guard. He's not 6'6", 6'7". But, there are a lot of 6'4" tackles in the NFL. It's more about reach, hips, ankle size, all these things that people on our message boards make fun of actually matter. So Auburn's recruiting him. I think, Jeffrey, we've both of our or all of our sources kind of connect on this one as a swing guy. He can play tackle or guard. They'll figure that out once he gets there. They just want the best 5 guys on the field. They really like this guy. He's a hard worker.
Good kid.
He's fit in great at Lakeland High, which demands that you come in and it sounds familiar here. Demands that you come in and follow their structure and all that stuff. And he's doing fine there. His offensive line coach says he's just scratching the surface. He's maybe been their best offensive player for a program that very well could be a state champion in a few months. So a lot to like about this guy. Auburn, I'm a little surprised more bigger schools didn't come in on him. I think that may have come later, and it still may come as he continues to play. and play well. But really, North Carolina ended up being the big threat. But really, there wasn't a threat. I mean, they probably were number 2, but Auburn has led almost since the day they offered in June. He's taken 3 visits there, was just there for his official visit last weekend, Jeffrey. And this just seemed like it was 2 sides that clicked from day one. Sometimes you have that. He was a Big Cat weekend in July at Auburn. His mom was pushing him to commit hard, and he resisted. He just wanted to take a step back. Usually it's the other way around.
Right.
The commit, the parent holds him back. But you knew then that if Mama wanted him there, and they are very close, they actually own and operate their own catering service together. Yeah, Sweets by Norris, give them a little pub. But it was a connection from day one with him and Will Friend, the offensive line coach, and Joe Bernardi, the assistant offensive line coach, and a good fit. I think he fits everything that Auburn's looking for. A guy that can play multiple positions, a guy that's tough, a guy with a high IQ, a guy with a great work ethic, a guy that comes from what looks like a solid family, and also a guy that can really help them.
Absolutely, man. Big need right there on the offensive line. Getting a guy, a versatile lineman like him, who's a high character kid too, man. He's an awesome dude. And I tell you one thing about his recruitment, and then we'll move on to upcoming. But one thing about his recruitment, it was old school recruitment. Like, how many times do you have a kid come out and say Auburn is my leader or School X is my leader? You just don't see that anymore.
Yeah.
So I don't know, a kind of nostalgic feeling for me.
And Jeffrey, we've been piling on Auburn since the loss to Penn State, and deservedly so in many respects. But this was a win. And again, forget, I said the other day, hey, look, out of the 10 commitments, 9 are guys where Auburn was clearly the best option. And so they're not, we kind of alluded to the fact they haven't been winning a lot of recruiting battles. That said, this is a guy that you look at and you say, I feel like people are going to come in on him late. They identified him early. This was a guy they wanted. So you're not really concerned as much about who they beat in this one. It fills a need. I like it, man. I have to say, I don't, you're not always crazy about every pickup, but I like this one.
He's a guy that without Auburn, he still ends up in the SEC or the ACC. And those are the guys you've got to have, especially with an offensive line class as big as the one Auburn wants to sign. To me, he was, I don't want to say a must sign or anything, but they had to have some guys in this class as offensive linemen. So getting him was big for Auburn, I thought. He was in for an official visit this past weekend. Of course, Jamarian Harkless took an official visit the weekend before that. This weekend, Keith, Missouri game. It's an 11 a.m. kickoff. Not expecting a big recruiting weekend with that early morning kickoff. There's just not a lot of time for kids to get up Saturday morning and get to Auburn. We know of one official visitor, Ashley Williams, coming up from Zachary, Louisiana. He's the 4-star edge who is committed to Auburn. He wants to get back on campus and see everything. Still feels good. He's a guy that flipped from Nebraska. Yeah. Before the coaching change.
Yeah.
So
Ashley
Williams from Zachary, Louisiana.
Yes, it's confusing.
Also, the other big news for this coming up weekend against the Missouri game is IMG from Bradenton, Florida, coming up. That powerhouse program is going to come up and play Central Phoenix City on Friday night. And they're going to be in town in Auburn, and they're going to use, I believe, the practice facilities, kind of getting ready for that game. And among those guys at IMG, which Auburn's not in on a lot of those guys, but one guy they are in on is Gabe Harris, the 4-star edge who was committed to Georgia. Keith, you went and saw him earlier this week. You think Auburn's got a pretty good shot here?
Yeah. First of all, let me just say, in IMG's senior class, most of those guys seem to know where they're going already. So you and I talked about this. I hope I'm not stealing your thunder. We don't want to get everybody too excited about the senior class at IMG being at the game. It is cool that they're going to be there. And maybe somebody says, you know what, maybe I'll take a second look at this place. But the bigger thing, obviously, is Gabriel Harris, the Georgia commit's going to be there. But also, and I should point this out in fairness to Auburn, IMG isn't just all senior starters. They got 2024s and 2025s. So if you make a good impression on those younger guys, it could probably help you down the road. So let's be fair to Auburn there. Let's give them a little credit.
Hell yeah, absolutely.
A lot of talent will be there. Just, unfortunately, it's not too many in the senior class. But the guy in the senior class that Auburn is really high on, Gabriel Harris, Georgia commit, transferred to IMG from Valdosta, where his coach is a guy named Shelton Felton, who you and I know because he was an assistant way back when, I think at Dooley County when Montravius Adams was there, then coached
Big Cat.
That's what I can't say. Crisp County, Georgia in Cordele. Big Cat. I always want to call him Big Cat Williams. Big Cat Bryant. And so
Marquavius.
yes, that's right. And now the kid is at IMG, but actually down in Bradenton. But before he was at Valdosta, he was in Thomasville, Georgia. And who was one of his 2 or 3 best friends since he was 9 years old?
Oh,
New Auburn commitment, Adam Hopkins. Okay, so you've got that connection, and then they have not talked a ton about Auburn yet. But Gabriel says, "Hey, when I'm in town Saturday at the game, Adam and I are supposed to hang out. We're supposed to get together." And he goes, he's like, "I'm sure he's going to be telling me all about it." And Gabriel Harris committed to Georgia. Excuse me, he's an edge rusher, by the way, and they love him at IMG. I talked to coaches there. I talked to the guy that actually gets the players down there. I talked to the trainer there who came there from the University of Alabama, and not the trainer, excuse me, the strength coach. And they all raved about this guy's work ethic, physicality, and motor, and just they think he's a physical freak, and he's really a football dude. They love him down there. So anyway, Auburn's recruiting him hard. He's really close with Rock Bellantoni. Again, committed to Georgia April 17th, I think, but officially visited Auburn in June. Will be back for this game and could return later. He'd like to be all shut down by November. It's Georgia still number 1, Auburn number 2. I think people at Auburn think they're maybe in it more than people think, and we get that impression too. It's going to be a hard flip, Jeffrey.
sure.
Georgia's Georgia, and they're going to be losing Nolan Smith, who's probably going to be a first-round pick at the edge position, edge outside backer. But Auburn got Derek Hall and Iku Leota going to bigger and better things after this season too, probably. So Auburn's got that big need, and that's big to him. I mean, like a lot of kids say, I don't care if I play early or not. No, this guy wants to play early. He wants to start getting it going the day he gets on campus. So that and his relationship with edge coach Rock Bellantoni give Auburn a fighting chance. And then who knows? He's a Thomasville guy at heart, and Adam Hopkins and him are close buddies, and that doesn't hurt. At the end of the day, those two are going to support each other wherever they go. Let's be honest. They're best friends. I mean, great friends. But would Adam like to probably get in his ear this weekend and tell him about Auburn? Sure. So we'll have to see how that goes. But Auburn is hanging around, and there is some optimism. Jeffrey, I know you talk to people too. You may describe it differently from what I'm hearing. It wouldn't be confidence. It's optimism. There's a little bit of difference there, but they think they're in it. And to get a guy, you got to first be in it first. What's that line from Coming to America? You don't just run. You don't wake up running. You have to walk first and walk into running. And that's
a little stretching
right now. Yeah. I hope I explained that. Okay.
And one other thing, Keith, and you mentioned this in your insider on Tuesday or Monday, or maybe it was yesterday. I don't know. My days are so run together. Tuesday, your insider on Gabriel Harris on Auburn Live on 3 is the opportunity for early playing time, which is big to him.
Yeah, that's what we're saying. I mean, it's huge. It's not just big; it's probably the biggest factor for him.
Did you already mention that?
Yeah, I did. That's okay.
Oh shit! I was pulling up my hot board.
Yeah, you're texting people. You got all kinds
I just turned you loose and I start doing other things. But I'm going to defer to you for my hot board that'll be out today on defense. Gabriel Harris. I had him at 15%. I think that was too low, obviously.
Yeah.
How high would you, and I'm thinking Auburn against the field. So in this case, Keith, it's going to be Auburn versus Georgia. How much of a chance do you think Auburn has at flipping him at this point before the visit?
Miami's also involved, and I can't remember. I think maybe one other program, but I think look, it's not 50% because Georgia's Georgia. Let's that we know where they're at right now, and again, as good as their roster is, excuse me, they're going to be able to sell some playing time too with Nolan Smith kicking tail and probably heading to the NFL. 30-35%.
Do you think he is the highest percentage guy among edge targets? And let me read them to you. Keldrick Falk, Quay Russaw, Reuben Bain, and then the Akana kid from Utah. Do you think Auburn has a better shot with Gabriel Harris than those 4 guys?
Ooh, that is a tough call. I mean, my heart, you hear all the stuff with Russaw from Montgomery, and he keeps visiting the 5-star edge, and your heart says one thing, and your brain says, well, I don't know, man. I've seen this one before. Is Bama going to be tough to beat? Georgia's also involved, but maybe Gabe may be look, and there may be other guys out there too.
Sure.
That haven't, they're always working guys behind the scenes that you don't necessarily know about. That's a great question. I think so.
I do too.
I think so. I mean,
Just from listening to you, just from talking to sources at Auburn, dude, you said confidence. No, you said optimism. That's exactly what I got from Auburn.
yeah.
That there's a real shot here with Gabriel Harris. I think Adam Hopkins is a big, like you said, and all the other things. Rock Bellantoni, playing time. Keldrick Falk visited.
Now he was not there last week though.
He
was
wasn't. He wasn't there last week. He was there for the San Jose State game. Florida State feels like he's locked up, right?
Yeah. Well, that's look, this stuff. Florida State feels great about that one, but on the flip side of that, Cole Pinkston, who works with us, obviously was just down in Highland Home to interview Keldrick Falk, and he got the impression talking to people with some knowledge of that recruitment that at the end of the day, distance from home will keep Auburn in it. So it was a little, I think, disappointing probably that he wasn't at the game last week, but he was there the week before, and his mother was there. He may be the next guy to watch. I mean, they got a lot of irons in the fire. I mean, there's a lot of things. I mean, look, and then they're also having to recruit with all the negative chatter too. So, just when you think you're making progress, you lose a game, and everybody's going to be in those kids' ears about stability at Auburn. So.
Ruben Bain, oddly enough, from Miami, the 4-star ace dude, he really loves some Auburn. I don't know how much, but he does. Like I talked to him last week. He was disappointed he wasn't going to be able to make it for the Penn State game. Could have worked out for the best in the end, but he's coming back for at least 2 games this week, starting next week with LSU. He'll be in town, or at least that's what he told me. He'll be in town.
People like Rock, and he's gonna get them on campus. I guess after Auburn lost the other day, I think people were kind of on our message board saying, hey, okay, that's great. You guys are pumping up these visits, but when are we going to start seeing results? So look, I see that side of it too, but all we can do right now is say, hey, here's who's coming. Here's who they feel optimistic about. And whatever happens beyond that is we'll see. I mean, there's a lot of unknown variables right now. Could you imagine predicting the final Auburn class right now? I mean, we don't know. There's a lot of unknown variables. That's the best way to put it. Okay. Each week comes a new curveball, but they are battling getting guys on campus, and
sure.
You
can't deny that. You can't deny the elite recruits that they're getting to visit multiple times for some.
Now the question is, this week, who's going to be there. This is like you said, a week where you're not going to have a ton of star power. So if you're Auburn, you say, all right, let's bring in some 24s and 25 kids. Right. Let's start building relationships for the future, which we've seen them do to their credit. Now they have done a much better job of that the first part of this season than I thought the first part of last season. There were some games early last season. There really were. I mean, it's like there weren't many people there, Jeff.
It was a ghost town. Yeah.
Yeah. And so they've improved there. So, and I know what everybody's saying, when I did the insider on Gabriel Harris. So by the way, we're going to have another update on him today with quotes and all that stuff. But when I did the insider, the first comments were, yeah, but are these guys even going to be here to coach? And that changes everything. Well, of course, but we can't write an update on a kid guessing what the landscape's going to look like in 1 week or 2 weeks. We can only do that based on right now.
Right.
Here and now. We'd love to be able to tell you what things are going to look like in 4 to 6 weeks. We can't. Nobody can. Literally nobody can. And
if I could, I'd be in Vegas cashing in. That's what I told
it's just the way it is. So what can we tell you? They got 10 commitments. There's some guys we like better than others. We really like the newest commitment. I'll tell you what, he probably my second favorite. He's not rated super high, but he's probably my second favorite commitment of Auburn's 10 guys behind Jeremiah Cobb, the 4-star running back. We can tell you that they've got maybe about 10 spots to fill between now and December, because they're going to they're going to save spots for JUCO. They're going to save spots for the transfer market. And we can tell you that while Janoris Wilson may seemingly be a little bit of not a project, but a developmental guy, he says, I'm going to come in and I'm going to try to get on the field. Yeah. So he's super hungry. So we know on the offensive line, they've got to recruit out of 3 baskets. High school guys, we think 4-ish, JUCO guys, 2-ish, and then transfer guys. And we'll know more about the portal after the season when we see what attrition there is. Will guys leave? Do guys not leave that they expect to leave? Things like that. Then they'll figure out how many spots they have left and overall, and then how many will go to the offensive line. I suspect 2 to 3 in the portal, though, because Auburn's offensive line really struggled last week. You're going to lose most of those guys. So after this season, many of the top guys. So you're thinking, okay, if the top guys struggled, what does it look like behind them? So that's where things sit on the offensive line right now.
Big need for Auburn. Getting Janoris Wilson was absolutely huge for Auburn. Again, not going to be a big weekend this weekend, LSU weekend. However, you got a 6 o'clock, you got a night game coming up for LSU. We know Alex Sanford, the Arkansas linebacker commitment, who is surged to the top of Auburn's board, is expected to be in for an official visit. I expect Ruben Bain to come in for unofficial visit. Maybe there's going to be a big weekend. LSU night game, LSU, and it's going to be big. October, going to get that month started off big time. It'll be a very important weekend for Auburn. So, Keith, good stuff, man. We appreciate everybody listening. We appreciate everybody subscribing. If you're not a subscriber to Auburn Live on 3, please go look, give us a check us out. It is free for a week, and then after that, we've got a promotion going on right now, which I just learned about last night. It's 50% off right now, Keith. Did not know that.
Oh, we got to get that cranking.
Yeah, 50% off right now for the entire year. You will not be disappointed, I promise you. If you're listening on YouTube, man, please go like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It really helps us out in the long run. We do not ask for tips or anything like that. Just, hey, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's pretty cool. We got daily content coming out. Keith and I on Mondays and Wednesdays inside the 20. We've got call-in shows on Tuesday, Thursday. We got the Modcast. Fridays, we've got another recruiting show before the weekend. Lots of free content for you there. All we ask is you subscribe to the channel. We appreciate everybody listening. We appreciate everybody subscribing. For Keith, for Zach in the back, I'm Jeffrey Lehman. Y'all stay out of the left lane. See ya.